Today, I want to talk about choosing the right Godox studio strobe or outdoor strobe with all batteries for you. But I want to show you something first because I got this in the mail the other day and I dismissed it almost immediately, even before opening the box, because they did contact me. And I did take a quick look and I was just like, oh God, another one. But then later, we're going to go into is the 600 better? Is the 400 better? Because I really want to go over these. But this thing came in the mail, and I'm always on the lookout for less expensive gear for photographers because a lot of people on this channel are not professionals. Some are aspiring professionals, a lot are amateurs, and they just do this for friends, family, or for charity kind of stuff. And spending a ton of money on gear that you don't need to spend a lot of money on is my thing here, where I want to say you don't have to spend a lot of money to get great gear. That being said, so I got this in the mail and I just literally, I left it on the floor once it was delivered. And then I got bored and I figured, let's open it and at least look at it. So when I did, I was kind of impressed. So it's a softbox. Now, when the company approached me, do you want a round one? Do you want a strip box? I said, I want a strip box. I use strip boxes a lot. So I figured if you have any shot at all, let's do a strip box and see how it is. Because I love a strip box. Honestly, I just think strip boxes are great. So first thing I noticed about this when I took it out was this S bracket. I hate S brackets. I hate them with a passion. But this is so incredibly lightweight. I can't get over it. Now, remember, this is proprietary to this, but it's a great S bracket because it is so lightweight and small. It is really lightweight. This part here is magnetic, so you can put the round head flash in or the rectangular. And we're going to use this because I'm just going to throw probably an AD200 or maybe a V100 in it to use with a big strip, well, somewhat big strip box. Now, this here is the Bowens mount that comes with this. So you can slip the Bowens mount into this as well. Whatever you want to put in here, you can use this for a speed light or for your Bowens mount flashes, and then diffuser, obviously. So now this took me a couple seconds to figure out, but it's pretty easy. It just slides in here. So you slide it into the one slot, and then there's a release on this side. And the first time I did this, I didn't do great. It took me a couple seconds to get it in, but after that, it was fine. And there's probably a good way to do this, but this is how it locks in. So this is that little groove that goes in, and this is the lock. Now, what excited me about this is you guys have seen my Pro Photo strip, which you can put a speed light in, the magnetic, which is great. Don't get me wrong. But the one thing it can't do is it can't turn. It just pops open. This doesn't get smaller, but it's flat, so it doesn't really matter. I kind of like this thing. I'm going to put this on a stand so I can set it up and you can see the setup with this. Well, photographer studio, I can't find a stand. I have them everywhere, I swear. I'm going to grab one of my Manfrotto stands. This is, I've shown these before on here. I just pulled these out of the corner, so I want to show them to you again. These Manfrotto stands, they lock together and they lock flat. So I always have them in a corner somewhere. This is amazing. And I've had these, man, I'm telling you, it has to be 12 years, I'm guessing. And they look brand new. And I beat the heck out of them. But you just push the button on top and they unlock. But this, I think, is amazing. These are just so well made and so secure. Let's put this on here and then set it up to see how this is. Again, this is the first time I'm setting this up, so you have to bear with me. I don't know what kind of diffusion they add with this or supply with this, but we'll find out together. It's a pretty easy setup. It's just the Velcro in the back and that pop open, and it's extremely lightweight. I expect it to be heavier, so I'm really happy about that as well. Also, I'm presuming this is the grid. None of this stuff is bought separately. It's all included with this package. And when I looked it up on Amazon, I was really surprised by the price. It was very inexpensive. I just want to see. Oh, so there's inner diffusion and extra. It has everything you need. Now, is it the best quality in the world? No, but I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. It's not really bad at all. Well, that's kind of an easy setup. Now, since I'll be using this as a backlight today, I'm definitely going to use the grid to control that light. So honestly, This is so light. I can't get over that. This is nice for travel. I think you're going to have to take care of it, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. So I'm going to use the V100 instead of the other one. And this magnetic makes it so much easier to take in and out. The little screw thing up here, this works fine. This is nice. It's going to hold the light. It's not going anywhere. That's a nice little setup. It's actually, that's pretty good. I'm impressed. I have to say, like I said, the build quality is not the best in the world, but it's not going to fall apart anytime soon. And if you take care of it, it's going to last a long time. So this is something to look at if you're looking for an inexpensive, quick strip box or soft box, because they have the Octabox too with this. But the strip box is what I was really interested in because these are usually heavy, expensive, and less than optimal. But using it, a light's going through a strip box. There's really not much here. I know a lot of people want to convince everybody that specific designs are going to make a difference, but they really don't. What matters is this front diffusion. No matter what you do on the inside, it doesn't matter until it hits the diffusion, and that's your light at the end. So depth and all that kind of stuff and black interiors, it's just stupid to me. But let's put this in practice today and see how it does. I think it's going to do really well. Anyway, we'll get to the video. So choosing between the AD600 Pro version 2 or the AD400 Pro version 2, I get a lot of questions about that. Now, I'm going to first tell you, and God's honest truth, I have replaced almost 80% of all my pro photo gear with the Godox Pro series because they are that good. And believe me, I am picky with this stuff. I just love these lights that much, and they're doing such a great job. And now they have the new Pro remotes. I'm so impressed with them. But I picked up the AD600 Pro version 2 for a comparison. Not to say I'm not going to compare light output and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of people have complaints about the 400's battery life. And for me, so far, I had no issues with it. Uh, I did several shoots with it, and it lasted the entire shoot without issue. Picking up an extra battery is obviously a good thing, but do you need one? I would say yes, always have a spare battery with these. The first thing I do with any piece of equipment that I buy a spare battery. So if it takes a battery, I have a spare no matter what. Anyway, so I want to set up this light and use it today. I'm just going to use it with an umbrella, a very large umbrella, because that's what my go-to is. So if I have this strip light in the back, the nice part about this strip light in the back is I can move it to be a main light and have this be the fill, or use this as the absolute main light and have this as an accent light or hair light, rim light, whatever you want to call it. But these lights and what they've done with them is so impressive. Now, obviously, this is bigger and heavier than the AD400. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. For me, I always use the remote heads. I remember the first one that came out, the AD600, and this is such a, wow, so different now. These are so impressive. All my tape's still on here. Anyway, these are fantastic. I really am impressed with what they've done with them, and they've come a long way. So, by the way, you don't need white gloves when they're touching these. It's the flash tube inside that you can't touch. You can touch, it's not a problem. What happens with the flash tubes is your skin oil gets on them and it creates a hot spot. Like when it flashes, it goes right to that oil and the oil starts to heat and holds the heat and it'll burn out or cause damage to that part of the tube, the part with the oil from your skin that's on it. Even if you wash your hands, there's still oil on your skin. Anyway, this is going to be fun today because I haven't used the AD600 since my current one, which is the original AD600. It's still going strong. I think it's fantastic. But the upgrades they made to this, and I wasn't able to tell that until I got the AD400 Pro version 2 and replaced my original. I'm really impressed with what they've done with these. Something as simple as these little lights on the side really make a difference when you're shooting. So what are your considerations when choosing between a 400, a 300, a 600? It's power, but not like you would think. So if you're somebody that shoots rapidly, you want to get as many shots of that pose as you possibly can, you need to have this at a lower power setting. So it recycles quicker, you don't miss shots. This at a lower power may be equal to a 400 at full power or at 300 at full power. You can dial this back, get quicker recycle time, more shots out of a single battery. That's your big goal here. And that's why I would say For a lot of people that shoot that way, the 600 is a great choice. The Pro 2 is a fantastic choice. Don't get me wrong. If you're not using this for a living, if you're not making a living off this, but really want great work as an amateur or a starting pro, any one of the 600s will be great. And the 400 is great. Remember, in the studio here, I'm using the 400 Pro version 2 all the time, and I've never had it at full power. Not once. I've just never used it at full power. I didn't need to. But with the 600, my recycle times are going to be a lot quicker, and I'm definitely going to get a lot more shots out of a single battery. That's pretty exciting to me. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get into the shoot and see how we do.
So we're starting this shoot with this very simple setup. The first thing is my camera set at ISO 100. I'm around f5.6 and 1/250th of a second. I always shoot at the highest shutter speed to stop the camera shake, even if I'm in the studio shooting with strobes, because I don't want any camera shake coming through. The backlight, which is my main light in that big 72-inch umbrella, is directly behind me with the silver umbrella, and it is at 1/8 power. And believe me, I'm not going to have any problem with recycling at that power. The speed light, the V100 in that Stripbox, is at 1/8 power. That's all I really need. I just want a touch of light. It's given it to me. And that box and that V100 have plenty of light to give, so that's a positive side with that V100, especially in a strip box like this. I always remember people saying, well, you can't use a speed light in a strip box. But trust me, you can. I do it all the time. And this strip box, you know, despite it being not the best made strip box in the world, it is very effective. Even though the quality isn't as, you know, I can't even say as good as a Profoto, because their quality isn't $400 worth, but the quality is good enough to last a long time if you take care of it. And believe me, I'm not like downgrading the quality. Like, it is a well-made softbox, but it's just not what I'm used to.
Okay, so I turned the main light into the fill light now. I took it down to 1/16th power. I moved over the strip light, the backlight, the grid, to the main light, and I took this up to half power. Because remember, it's just that little V100 speed light working against a AD600, so I need more power out of this. At half power, I'm not going to worry about battery power or recycle. It still does a great job. It is the V100. Let's see how we do with this.
So dialing back the power on that main light, the one behind me, it's going to just act as a fill light. And that strip box is definitely my main light now. I love the look, but I still want to change it up some more.
So the reason I'm moving this light over is because she's turning her head that way, and I don't want it to hit here for broad lighting. I want to keep it at short lighting, so it's going to keep her face thinner versus making it look heavier.
So while we were shooting, she just turned her head to our right, and I just love the look. But, you know, I took the one shot, and it was too broad of lighting for me. That left side was lit too much, so I figured I'll move that light over to this right side. I just wanted to give you some context on that. But I love the look. I love the way it came out. You know, the next image, I'm going to boost up the power just a little bit on that backlight, you know, to add a little bit more fill. And you're going to see it's a little bit brighter than it was before, but I still have that, you know, rim light or the strip box filling that right side.
Now, what's special about this cheap strip box that I can't do with the $400 strip box from Profoto is turn it. So the reason I turn this is because I need light on this side of her head. I want it on the back and the front. I can't do that with the $400 strip light from Profoto. With this one, I can do it. I'm really loving this already the way it is. It's a little tight to turn because it is that, you know, clamp system I showed you, but it works, and that's all that matters to me. So let's get a couple shots like this and adjust the light to where it works perfectly.
Okay, granted, it's not the easiest thing to turn, but it does turn. I think once it loosens up a little bit over time, because it's, you know, brand new, it'll be fine and it'll, you know, turn a lot smoother. But the fact that I can turn it at all means a lot to me.
AD600 even
And,
more.
you know, I love using Stripbox in this horizontal format as well as I do the vertical format. Vertical format, whether you're shooting it as a main light or a rim light, you know, it covers from head to toe.
God, I love
so
that. I
that
see
works
that
for me.
too.
So what I did is I lowered the power on the main light even more. So this is more of the feature light. I think it's working. So here's that image with that main light brought down. I should say the light behind me, because it's not the main anymore. Actually, the strip box is. But these are the type of things you can do with just something like an AD600, AD400, and one speed light. And having a strip box this inexpensive and having your main light like this is a 2-light setup, and you can do a lot with this. Do you need 3 lights? I use 3 lights a lot, because look at the lights left side of her head. If I had a 3-light setup right now, let me rephrase that. If I was using a 3-light setup right now, I can add a little bit of rim light to that left side as well. But I'm liking the looks from this, so I really don't need it at this point. Most of the jobs I do and most of the studio work I do, I am happy with 2 lights. It just works for me. Now I'm going to pull that main light to the left side. Obviously, I'm going to have to cut down the power quite a bit, because this light with this much power with a silver umbrella is going to put out some light. Since this is back to the rim light or side light or fill light, whatever you want to call it, I took this down to 1/8 power. I just want a little bit more punch than I normally get. And my main light is at 1/32 power, because it's this close and I am using a silver umbrella. So that makes a difference. So the key here is, remember, I'm shooting at ISO 100, 2/50th of a second at f5.6, and 1/32 power is pretty impressive. I'm still at 1/8 power on that back V100. I dropped that down because I just didn't need a lot. I just wanted a touch on her, and it is definitely doing the job. So, my final word on this is, whether you're getting an AD400 or an AD600, it doesn't matter. They're both going to give you enough power for a studio size like this. If you have a larger studio and are for some reason using even larger modifiers than I'm using right here, then maybe you need a 1200. But I don't see in today's world where you would need more than a AD600 by any means. And again, I never even went close to full power with this. Now, here you can see the dark eyes. That's just because my light is back a little bit too far. So if I just pull it up a little bit, it'll give me a little bit more wraparound. And remember, I didn't bump the power. I'm still at 1/32 power. But by moving it up a little bit, it's wrapping around her just a little bit more and giving me the image that I wanted. This was a lot of fun. I'm so appreciative that Godox has gone into the Pro lines. By the way, that image there, I love the image. I love the pose she had. I just want to dial back the main light and make that a fill again, and use my strip box as the main light, because I just love the look. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the shoot. I had a lot of fun doing it, and thank you for watching as always.